My name is Alex Hanafi, and I'm an attorney with the Environmental Defense Fund in Washington, D.C. EDF is a nonprofit, nonpartisan, non-governmental environmental advocacy organization. We work on the most pressing environmental challenges, from clean air to healthy oceans to public health and sustainable ecosystems. And we're here at COP22 to work on and promote work around how to quickly reduce emissions of greenhouse gases in a way that's efficient, that gets them down faster and farther than we otherwise might. So a coalition of carbon markets is essentially a group of countries or jurisdictions that would come together to form and develop common standards and guidelines that could help ensure the environmental integrity of internationally traded emissions units. So there are about 50 plus jurisdictions right now that have developed and are implementing emissions trading systems that cap and cut climate pollution. That number covers about 1 billion people around the world, with China slated to develop its own emissions trading system next year. That number is slated to rise to over 2 billion people. And as the number of these systems increases, the need for coordination among these systems to ensure environmental integrity also increases. And that coordination among those jurisdictions can not only help ensure environmental integrity, but can also maximize the benefits of those domestic policies. So essentially what these tools do, these are concrete policy tools that help drive emissions down and investment in clean energy up. And what we know from what the climate science tells us and what the policy framework tells us, we need emissions to go down rapidly, and we need a lot more investment to do that. And so carbon markets are simply a policy tool that allows both of those to come at the same time. And what a coalition of carbon markets would do would essentially get those countries together that are interested in using these kinds of policy tools, that are voluntarily choosing to do this, to exchange ideas, to share best practices, to improve the efficiency with which they implement their carbon reduction policies, and ultimately to help share that information more broadly so that other jurisdictions could assess whether they wanted to take similar action. So Article 6 of the Paris Agreement essentially reaffirmed the value of international cooperation on carbon markets under this term of cooperative approaches. And that reaffirmation, I think, is important in spurring and continuing the momentum around the development of these domestic emissions trading systems. And a coalition of carbon markets, if it was to come together, and there are signs that there's interest in this, there's renewed kind of focus on this post-Paris because of Article 6 of the Paris Agreement. What that coalition could do is it could essentially complement the Paris Agreement. This coalition could help countries to achieve their nationally determined contributions, their climate pledges, help them achieve them in a way that ensures environmental integrity, and help them feel confident that they can go faster and go deeper in reducing their emissions than they otherwise might, because these kinds of policy frameworks allow for lower cost reductions. That's important. Why is that important? It's important because low cost means that you can afford to do more, and ultimately we know we need to do a lot more than what we're doing right now.